Hello everybody, this is Creso, and I'm here for my fourth part on the Human Journal. I'm going to discuss about fear, how it impacts us in a lot of ways, and something I've been analyzing within myself. I've been analyzing just people, how they interact with each other, but it's amazing that when we don't take control of our mind, it will basically shift you into a place that you don't want to be. But I realized that, the human mind is unable to see clearly. That's why sometimes I have my moments that I have to tell myself that the human mind can't see far. It goes through panic mode. And I see that in a lot of people's lives. One of the things that always comes up is the what if. What if this happens or that? And I've heard of this, so long, and I even speak like that sometimes too. And I'm going to also talk about other ideas that's basically attached to fear, other ideas, such as authority. I created a clip. It's called Creso Thoughts on Authority. I'm going to touch a little bit about the authority, and I'm going to basically put this, what I'm going to share in this journal, I'm going to put what I go through on my mind and when fear comes in, and this idea of authority itself, how it comes in, and just my own experience dealing with people with this paradigm of authority and fear at the same time. First, I just have to basically talk about how I'm going to give you my take on how the human mind works when it comes to fear. And a lot of you, I know a lot of you are going to probably heard of this before, but when you attract things, when you have like the worst case scenario situation, your mind is going to suggest those things. And I'm also going to express this through my own experience. And I've had situations because for a moment when I didn't take control of my mind, it basically, I found myself, it manifests exactly what my mind put out there. You see, I realize with the human mind is that it's going to suggest different situations. And I've been going through this for years, actually. I've gotten better, a lot better. I'm not the same person as I was before when I reconnected to who I am. I used to go through a lot of, when I had a situation with somebody, I had my mind, let's say I had an argument with somebody, my mind gave me thousands of different scenarios, and I expressed this in other clips, but I just want to tell you a little bit more on this. My mind suggested, or let's just say, put so many different scenarios of the situation, and I find myself basically yelling to myself, not quietly, but loud, but I'm by myself, let's say, and my mind will continue on. It will continue on playing old tapes. The thought in my mind, you see, when I slide into these different scenarios, these negative scenarios, or it could be negative or fear, whatever the case may be, but something that's not good, I realize with my own mind that it creates thought forms, I call them. Some of you probably heard of this, thought forms. Thought forms are for real. It's an energy. It's an energy that comes from the mind, which, everything comes from consciousness, but the mind is it's a device. Okay? When you produce thought forms, okay? When you produce thought forms, it's going to play out. It's I don't want to get too technical, but I'm expressing this in this journal about my analyzing with fear and just how I react in people's behavior. And I realize within my own mind when it suggests a scenario and I take it in a scenario, I produce a thought form, meaning this is my take on it now, meaning that I will slide into a reality that I don't like. Okay, I'm going to slide into a situation with experience with somebody that's going to come up very similar. Sometimes it'll be exact, sometimes it'll be similar. But the thought form played itself out because I created it. You see, it took me a little bit to understand how this whole thing works. When I used to go through depression, I used to have so many negative thoughts about life, about myself, about people, and I've seen other people go through this. A lot of people claim to be depressed, like they take ownership, like it's kind of like a property. When you say I am depressed, basically you are shaping a life that's depressing. And I used to go through the experience of depression for over 20 years. The mind is a very powerful device. It is not powerful than you. It is not. It's just a device. When you produce thought forms and you slide yourself into a reality, okay? Yeah, I realize that when I have these feelings, I have to reverse it within myself. I have to basically forgive myself, love myself, keep feeding myself the opposite. Okay, if a situation that I experienced that happened because I created it, okay. I mean, blaming yourself is not going to do anything. I'm learning more within this human experience that you basically have to love yourself. As far as your experiences with people, your mind is going to constantly suggest things. This does take work on our part every single moment. This takes work. You have to work things out within yourself. I don't want to talk about the people so much. Like, I know a lot of us could quickly point fingers at people, whatever. I know that's easy. We have a ton of reasons to do that. I just want to say that the focus on you, the inner work is within yourself. I realize that. You have to reprogram your mind. You have to basically feed yourself every good thought about yourself. Things in this dimension, I realize, is going to continue to suggest things to you. This dimension is full of choices. But the mind, for example, will continue suggesting things to you every single moment. And like I said, you gotta. It takes work. It's like exercise. It's not hard. You just gotta. I realized within my own experience, even though I'm not of a human, I'm in this experience like everybody else. When your mind suggests things, and let's say you have something in your past, I realize I have something in my past and my mind still hold on to things. It will suggest things to me. It will connect to your feelings, okay? Your feelings. And then you find yourself amped up for no reason, like out of nowhere. You had a situation maybe, you know, let's say I had a situation that happened a day ago, or a few days ago, or a few weeks ago, or maybe something that approached me that gave me a reminiscence of something, or maybe a music. The mind is very intelligent in different ways. If you have something, let's say a music that could recollect an experience that you had, a negative experience, it will play that music that you just heard on the radio, and it will combine that with the thoughts in your head already, okay? And then it will come up with different scenario situations, different version of the situation, version that you didn't experience that in your reality, but it will continuously throw things at you. It's like the mind will throw different doors at you, okay? You got door 1 through 4, okay? And sometimes the doors are open and you can see what's inside the door. And when you look inside those doors, it has things that will try to suck you inside. And that's how it works. That's just how I describe it. But you have the power, because we're consciousness. You have the power to shut the door. You have the power to change the room within yourself. You have the power to create a new story to yourself. When you have in a situation, I realize that when people, even myself and let's say other people also, that when we have a situation and let's just say there's a situation that will suggest for you to be scared, or suggest that there's a relationship that's going to about to fall apart. It could be a business, it could be anything. And then your mind, I realize the mind will suggest different scenario situations about the what if this happened this way and that happens that way. And I realize more and more and more and more that the human mind can't see far. It can't. It will only go by what it thinks the possibility is. That's why I realize within humanity, a lot of people, a good number of people, may not be all, but I will say this, a good number of people, including myself, we get in a situation of feeling panic or angry or depressed or sad or whatever level, or even having an experience of rage. I experienced that feeling before, rage, because of my background in this world, that I had an experience of child abuse. And I held on to those things. I watched it grow. I watched this rage within me grow because I held on to stuff. And what happened was it became a life of its own. So your mind will throw these things at you. It will develop a kitchen. It will throw the kitchen at you, the whole thing, the fork, knife, everything. But even though I'm saying this to myself and to everybody that's listening to this journal clip, that you have the power to change the kitchen or change any type of room. I'm gonna share this and do my best to break it down. When you have these feelings about, let's say, a relationship that you feel within yourself that is not good, you had an argument with somebody, and you have this feeling of when you start to worry, your mind will start developing other stuff, and it will attach the feeling. Once you go with the feeling, and once you take on a suggested idea what the mind will say, you're going to find yourself in situations that you're not happy. And that's just how it is. That's just how the mind is. It's only suggesting for you to feel that way. It's very convincing because it goes with the feeling. To me, the feelings are like the nerves, okay? The nerves of your soul, or you're going to call it spirit. It will attach the feeling, and it will go into your heart. I don't want to villainize the mind. You see, the mind, I realize within this human experience, the mind is like a clay. We shaped our mind in a certain way for so long, for a very long time. Depends on your background, depends whatever you've gone through. Doesn't matter where you're from. Doesn't matter who you are. I realize within human mind, we shape it to be a certain way. So it's going to go by a habit. You know this within human behavior. You know, you find yourself having a habit that is hard to break. Like I say in my other journal, everything within the human experience, a lot of it has to do with mental and physical. But I want to say this: the overall picture that's the most dominant, on the physical and mental is spiritual. Spiritual is the most dominant. It just plays the background. You see, the forefront is the physical and mental. It may seem, the mental and physical within the human experience itself, it may seem like it's difficult or impossible. Because a lot of people rely on what they see with the physical. You rely on what you see with the physical. You're having a bad experience with somebody. Okay, then you listen to what that person's saying, and then your mind will start to play on those things, and then your mind will grab stuff from the past that may seem like a situation that you had similar to that current situation. So it will combine those things to you. It will multiply different scenarios, and I'm talking to experience. I've gone through this throughout my journey on Earth so far. I've gone through a lot of scenario thoughts within my own head. And I've seen it. I've seen it produced. I find myself shouting out loud. I mean, there was nobody around, but I found myself shouting out loud. I found myself punching a wall. I felt angry because I was going through an illusion. I said to myself, this is not happening right now. I'm reacting on something that haven't even happened yet. Because I fall into the phantom that the mind throws at. It will throw phantoms on top of the situation that you're going through with somebody. That's why a good number of people having a difficulty of letting go. I realize that when we talk to one another about letting go, let's say forgive yourself, your mind is not conditioned to think that way at first, because we condition it to be another way. So your mind is going to reject that. It's not going to like that. But you overall have the ultimate say, because you're consciousness. Your consciousness, you have the ultimate say. You have to use your power to change your mind. This applies to anybody. This applies to myself. The mind will attach your feeling, and it will say, no, I don't want to let go. It gives you this false sense of some sort of drive to hold on to bitterness and anger. And then let's say you hate that person, right? It will hold on to it. It's like it will latch right into you. It's an illusion that is stronger than you. Those feelings that your mind, when your mind suggests these thoughts and it goes into your feeling, it's not stronger than you. And the way to go about this is simple. I know in your head will say, no, it's not simple. You have to do the opposite within yourself. Let's just put other people on the side for a moment. But ourselves, within, from within, we have to work things out within ourselves. It's important to love yourself. It's important to forgive yourself. How the mind works is that it will basically hold on to things about other people, and then you start to feel angry about yourself. Your mind will be your mind's conditioned to say that you are a failure, and you're not a failure. But your mind is conditioned to feel that way, and the truth is that you're not. You're not a failure, and you have to be the opposite how you feel about yourself. That's the thing. You have to be the opposite. You have to consistently do the opposite. Your mind will suggest things until you get to a point that your mind is changed, that you basically shape or mold your mind into a different form. It takes work, everybody. It takes work. This takes work for myself. This does. And I realize a lot of things that goes on in this world, I don't care if it's war, I don't care if it's politics, I don't care if it's a marriage issue, I don't care what it is. Everything has a lot to do with the mind on this part. It has a lot. And yes, it does go hand in hand with the physical. You see things with your two eyes, you hear things, right? And then your mind will automatically formulate ideas, suggested ideas to you. And again, it will test your feelings. And then you're going to feel stuck. You're going to feel like, I don't know what to do. You're going to feel like, I don't know what decisions to make. So you make an irrational, emotional decision. And then when you make the emotional decision, you feel good at the moment, but then you feel horrible. Because you took on the idea of what your mind was suggesting. Your mind gave you phantoms. It gave you phantoms, so you've gone with it. And this is what happens a lot throughout humanity. And even myself, okay? I'm in this human experience. All these things that I'm saying to you is an experience. Another best way to go about into moving on is to not condemn yourself. That right there is freedom. Just don't condemn yourself. Make a decision. You know, like I was saying, when we make rash decisions because we're afraid, it will betray you. It will. You're not going to feel good about yourself. I'm saying everything that I'm saying to you so far, out of experience. I haven't gone through every experience on earth so far, but I can say that so far, I can say that I've been through enough. I've been through enough to understand how the mind works and how we can recondition our mind. We make rash decisions because we think with our head. I wanted to say this to everybody, and I'm saying this, and as I'm saying this to you, I'm saying this to myself. Remember, the human mind can't see clear, or it can't see far. It can't. It's easily go into panic mode. It's very limited, the human mind. It is very limited. All it's going to do is going to throw phantoms at you. is going to think. Your mind will act like it knows what's going to happen. But here's the tricky part. You see, when it throws these phantoms at you, okay, and when you take in and when you give birth, and I'm doing my best to explain in this journal, the thought forms. You give birth to the thought form. It's like another spirit within you comes out. It will come out. It's like an architect of its own. It will create a reality that your mind suggested. And it's strange because I told you that the mind will suggest phantoms. So it will suggest phantoms and it will create a reality. And your mind will also go by facts. So that's the thing within our many cultures in our world. We go by facts. Yet all the things we talk about, so-called facts, a lot of this stuff is coming from your head. You think because you come up with some proof, right? And it all goes by an energy. The energy that you're releasing. You see, you're going by facts, okay? And you're going to back it up with the feeling state, how you know, from what your mind is suggesting. But you see, everybody, when we think with our head, you're going to create phantoms within. You're going to be in a reality that you don't want to be in. So you're going to say to yourself, yes, these are the facts. I know it's going to be a little difficult to hear that because your mind is going to say to you that I'm crazy to share this. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm going to share something with you, everybody. This is something a little bit personal. A long time, I'd say maybe over 20 years ago, something like that. I had an ex-girlfriend, and she told me that she wanted to hang out with this person, this guy, right? Now, she told me there's nothing going on, okay? And I felt iffy about it, but I said to myself, okay, I'm going to trust her in this. And she supposedly said she was going to the movie with this guy. And I was okay with it at first, even though my mind was kind of giving me a question mark. One day, that same day, something hit me. Looking back at it now, my mind gave me a very heavy suggested thought. It told me that my ex was cheating on me. It was a feeling. This is tricky because I'm analyzing this even now. I kind of called this before an intuition feeling. It's an intuition, something. But when I took on that thought, I find out later that she was. It's just that it hit me out of nowhere. I didn't get any phone calls. Nobody told me anything. It's just, my mind just hit me. Boom. And I took it. I accepted it. And it was a phantom. It was a phantom. And then I created my reality. I created a reality and, that yes. A reality that, yes, my ex-girlfriend, cheated on me. I didn't understand at the time. It took me a while to put it together. You may agree what I'm saying or not. But you see, what I feel, when your mind will come up to you, within you, and suggest something, even though, let's just say, your feeling, like you're going through something within you saying, oh, don't do it. You have to, what I feel what the best thing to go about it is to stop at the moment, recreate a different story. You have to trust yourself. You really have to have faith within yourself that you having something that your mind suggests. Your mind is, your head is ringing alarms. The alarm is so loud in your head. This takes courage, even on my part. You have to have faith in yourself and recreate another situation, a reality that you do prefer. Now, I know everything that I'm sharing to you is tricky. This takes a lot of really meditating, and I meditated a lot before I'm doing this clip. I do tell people to follow your heart. There is a difference, okay? I'm hoping that a lot of you that listen to my clip that follow me very carefully. Go with your heart. If you're wondering what's the difference, that's something you don't have to figure it out yourself, everybody. I could tell you the best I can on my experience. I don't know. You just know in your heart. You just know. And you see, what I guess maybe I can say this, and maybe hopefully this will be clear for everyone that's listening to this. Your higher self, okay, and I call consciousness, your higher self is you, okay? It will basically usher you into a different reality. It will give you suggestions, but it will basically usher you, okay, assist, because that's you, your consciousness. Your mind is consciousness, okay? But I want to say this, when you rely on your higher self, okay, that's within you. This is not some outside God that these religion faith suggests. We're talking about your higher self. That's another version of you in a different spiritual plane, but it's a connection. It's you, really. When you lean towards that instead of your head, you will have more clarity. You will have more clarity on what decisions to make. I'm saying this to you as well as I'm saying it to myself. Far as that the human mind is limited into what it can see, my suggestion to anybody, okay, is lean on what you see spiritually. And I'm going to say this, see, for the human experience, to see things spiritually for the human body is the third eye. Your third eye is very powerful. It's you. Okay? Okay? Your third eye, and I expressed this in my other clips. And it's funny, the third eye is part of the brain. It's weird. I'm going to do my best not to be too technical. Okay? Your third eye is like a direct link to consciousness. Okay, you could say, it's consciousness eye, which is you. Okay, there's nothing outside of you, everybody. Okay, there's no outside guide. Okay, I want to make this very clear. And I'm writing this journal for myself and for everyone listening to this. The third eye is a direct link to consciousness within you. When you start to see things through the third eye, you will have more clarity, like I said. You will have more clarity for what decisions to make. You will know the difference. And I'm going to tell you this. You see, when I decide to see things spiritually, I feel more confident. I feel more relaxed. I feel that there is nothing or nobody could ever harm me because of who I am. I feel more relaxed. Your mind will constantly suggest things to you. It will constantly suggest. I call the human mind the ego, the intellect mind. It will constantly suggest things to you.